All right, so the next few lectures are going to be about games, about actually facilitating a game. Now, if you don't want to facilitate games for the rest of your life, this is still applicable. A lot of people, sorry, the screen. A lot of people, well, you need the same skills for pretty much any kind of leadership facilitation of any kind, especially in rec. You still need the same kind of ideas. A lot of the same principles come into play. So don't think this is just about games. Although it is focused toward that, there's still application elsewhere. So when it comes to a game, any kind of activity, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Naturally, of course, it's kind of obvious, but it's good to think about that way, because the beginning, the middle, and the end need different strategies, different planning, different implementation. Today we're focusing on the beginning, hence getting it going. Some things to consider: teamwork, getting people involved if it's possible, or if it's needful, get them involved, establishing rules, setting up the equipment. First of all, many hands makes light work. It's, and more heads is better than one head, just because there's more ideas there. But also gives them a sense of ownership over whatever it is that you're doing, whatever activity might be. Communication. Be very aware of your verbal and nonverbal cues. For example, I like to stand with my arms folded. It feels comfortable to me. However, it gives off a closed off presence. It doesn't look very welcoming. So I have to be careful the way that or when I use it. But things like that about your body language, but also the words that you use. You need to give people, make sure you're giving them, making them feel welcome to play. And thirdly, involvement. When it comes to actually participating in the activity, present them with a challenge. People like to be challenged, or at least they want something that's going to balance with their skill level. Choose games that include everybody. You don't want a game that is going to exclude somebody who maybe has a disability, or who isn't going to feel comfortable in that game, or whatever it might be. Make sure that you choose games that everyone can be involved in. And lastly, allow for choice. For example, I have a 3-year-old, and I let him choose what he wears every day. But I mean, if I really let him choose, it would be insane what he'd wear. It would be hysterical. So instead, what I do is I hold out 2 shirts that I'm okay with, either one, and then I say, which one do you want? And then he still gets his choice. So when it comes to allowing choice, it doesn't mean that you let them have the run of the day. You just give them choices between things that can work. It gives them, again, a sense of ownership. If someone does want to opt out, allow it. If they're forced to play, they're not going to like it no matter what you do. So don't force someone if they really insist on opting out. Facilitation versus authority. When it comes to power relationships, there are 2 ways you can lead. Okay, one is through authority, giving people a sense of fear. Like, if you don't participate, you'll be punished. If you don't do this well, you'll be punished. It's not the kind of leadership we're going for here, first of all. And second of all, it doesn't lead to anything good. It doesn't really help people participate the way that you want, or give them any, it just doesn't work. They don't have a sense of ownership. They don't feel very capable because they feel like they're just being forced. Versus relational power, where people give you power because they respect you. That's what you want. You want them to follow you because of, and this is pretty self-explanatory, the name of it, because you have a relationship with them, because you've built a relationship of trust. Secondly, the fun begins with you. If you're bored, they will be too. If you're excited, though, they will be excited as well. And lastly, don't ask others to do something that you don't feel comfortable doing. If it's not within your comfort zone to do it, then you shouldn't be doing it. It's another thing to delegate something for someone else to have a good experience, or to learn how to do something because they like to do it. But if you're doing it, if you're taking it off your plate just because you don't want to deal with it, because it's a dirty job, or it's something that you just don't want to deal with, that's not fair. Make sure you have good reasons for delegating a task like that. The 4 P's of getting a game going: purpose, planning, preparation, and presentation. We're going to break them down. Purpose. Every game or every activity has a goal. The goal can even be fun. That's totally fine. But maybe you're trying to teach them teamwork, creativity, initiative. Self-efficacy is one we talk about a lot in recreation, where your success in one aspect of life can be apply to a different part of life. For example, I can be really, if I do a really difficult mountain biking run, it makes me feel like I'm more capable in areas that have nothing to do with mountain biking. Maybe that's something you're trying to teach them, is to have a stronger self-efficacy. At the end of the game, you should know if you accomplished the goal, if the game really did meet the intended goal. Planning takes some time. There's several things you need to take into consideration when it comes to planning. First of all, the players. What are their needs? Like, do they have specific needs for things that maybe activities that they might need, or goals they might need to, like, maybe they need a better self-efficacy, or maybe they have developmental needs where they need to be actually learn to do a new skill. What are their current abilities? What are their interests? Is it something they're going to hate, or are they going to enjoy it? Are there any lightning rods in the group? Lightning rods are referring to people like a lightning rod who will take your energy and spread it to the rest of the group. Somebody who will be as excited as you want them to be. They're kind of the person you always lean on to get everybody else going. Are there any of those, and how can you involve them? The situation. What do they do? For example, if it's an after-school program, they're exhausted. They just went to all of school. So what can you do to kind of help them get their energy out, or give them a rest, depending on the day? The situation, like what happened before and what's going to happen afterwards, makes a big difference. What's going on in the time of year, or the school? What's going on in the school? What's going on in the community? The time is there. Are there any holidays that are being celebrated in the community, or any festivals or anything like that maybe could be incorporated? Setting. Where are you playing? Are you outside? Or are you inside? Are there boundaries? Can you make them? Should you make them smaller? Should you make them bigger? Things like that. Being outside is you can play the exact same game. Kickball inside is a completely different game than kickball outside. And so you're going to adjust the game accordingly. It's just the way that it goes. The game, is it competitive? What's the energy level? What's the mood of the game, or the expression of the game? The leader, are you confident enough to do this? Should you pick a game that you'd be more comfortable with? Is your previous experience sufficient for this? Have you had success with this game in the past? Can you be flexible if things need to change up in the middle of the game? Some other things to consider. It is pretty much impossible with activities to overplan. It's good to always have backups. That's what the pocket games is referring to. Something you can kind of pull out of your pocket, not literally, figuratively though. If there's time to kill, some activity to play or to participate in as a group, those kinds of things are really very important, and you find yourself needing them more than you might think. To be able to always have something to fill the time if needed. If you need to fill the time on stage, for example, before the comedian arrives and you have to be the MC for a little while, you need to be comfortable doing that kind of thing. And again, plan for that kind of thing. Plan to have things go wrong so you're not in a rut or stuck. When you plan an activity, try to make it so that most participants are active the majority of the time. You don't want them to be just sitting around watching the majority of the time. If there's a way to make outed players still be playing, for example, you want them to be active. If most of the people are out of the game just watching, these aren't meant to be spectator sports. It's supposed to be participating. Make sure that you're in the moment in a game. If you're thinking ahead, then you're not in the moment. And allow for change. If things go wrong, be okay with it. Just be flexible and have fun with it. All right, we'll continue the rest of this lecture in part 2.